like you don't know what it is.
What is it?
Come on, Jimmy. Seriously, the time is up. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati. We're a part of it, and I'm sick of it. I want everybody to be in on the joke. Talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh, so you don't know what's really going on. They're trying to turn us into consumer drones. I think what I was really trying to say.
Hey Fanatics! We all saw Jim Carrey take a step back from Hollywood, and ever since that happened, everyone's had just one question in their minds: why? Some people thought it was the death of his ex that kind of drove him insane and away from the industry, while others simply bought the idea that he was just tired of working. But as it turns out, the truth is much darker. Stay tuned for more on this and subscribe to our channel for all the latest celebrity gossip. The famous actor has been long known for his funny and mysterious roles. We all know he became really popular in the 90s with all his successful movies. But even though he was making lots of money and becoming really famous, he decided to take a break from the shady world of Hollywood. This break obviously made his fans wonder why he disappeared. He finally addressed the problem in 2018 when he spoke up and explained why he stepped away from the very industry that made him a star. It turns out that the flashy and showy side of show business was tough on him. And he talked openly about how the business side of the film world was not so great either. After this break and his honest interview, Jim Carrey did come back to making movies. But people noticed that something was different. The special spark that was in his acting before didn't shine as brightly, and his new movies weren't as amazing as his older ones. Why? Well, you know how it goes. Once you speak out against the industry giants, they make sure you never find success again. Jim Carrey made that mistake, and even though he made some pretty great movies later on, they never received any major recognition. Let's explore Jim Carrey's journey in Hollywood for a little context here. Since his breakout movie Ace Ventura in 1994, Jim Carrey has been one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. He kept delivering hit after hit during the best times of his career. But then, something changed. It seemed like Jim wasn't so interested in the big blockbuster roles like he used to be. He kind of just stepped away from the bright lights, or at least that's how he portrayed it. But the reality is, there was nothing worthy left for him to do in Hollywood. It was almost as if the industry just washed his hands off him. In 2018, Jim made a sort of comeback with the show Kidding, and during that year, he finally explained why he had changed his mind in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter. He said something that surprised a lot of his fans. "I just didn't want to be in the business anymore." That was a shock because people loved his high-energy performances in movies. Even though he had achieved incredible success, it seriously looked like Jim had become unhappy with the way show business worked. One big reason behind his disappointment in the film industry was that he felt it was becoming more focused on making money, and this started to overshadow the joy he used to feel in his work. The artistic side of things was getting pushed aside because of the push for profits and business matters. Because of this, he slowly stepped back from being so much in the public eye. Even though he did eventually come back to work on a few more movies, it's clear that these recent ones didn't become as popular as his earlier blockbusters. However, there are ongoing rumors about more projects coming up, suggesting that Jim's passion for acting is still strong. Now let's talk about one of Jim Carrey's most famous roles. Jim Carrey is known for his incredible acting and his hilarious physical comedy. He became a big deal in Hollywood because of his performances in both serious and funny movies. His journey to stardom began with a TV show called In Living Color, where he showed off his amazing talent. One of his most unforgettable roles was in the 1994 movie Dumb and Dumber. He starred alongside Jeff Daniels, and their chemistry made the movie really special. But things got disappointing when Jim found out that he and Jeff Daniels were casually replaced in a prequel called Dumb and Dumberer, When Harry Met Lloyd. This left him confused, especially because their great performances were a big reason the franchise was successful. When they wanted to make a sequel called Dumb and Dumber 2, Jim was unsure at first because he was so busy. But he eventually agreed to come back for the movie. Right before the sequel was released in 2014, Jim Carrey talked to the LA Times and opened up about how he felt when he learned that the other actors were taking over their roles in the prequel. This prequel, which came out in 2003, had different actors named Derek Richardson and Eric Christian Olsen playing the roles of Harry and Lloyd. This was a big change from Jim and Jeff, who originally brought those characters to life. Even though the first Dumb and Dumberer movie was a huge hit, the prequel that came later got really bad reviews from critics. People couldn't help but compare the two films, and that made the prequel look much worse. In an interview with the LA Times, Jim Carrey shared his feelings about this. He said something like, The people in charge basically thought, well, it's not really important if it's him, right? We can just put anyone in there. He felt bad for the new actors because taking over an iconic character is really tough. He also found it odd that they made this decision. Jim Carrey wasn't shy about speaking his mind regarding an incident at the 94th Academy Awards involving Will Smith. When Will slapped Chris Rock on stage, Jim didn't hold back his opinion. He talked to Gayle King on CBS Mornings about how upset he was with the way the room reacted, especially when Will won Best Actor and got a standing ovation. Jim felt disgusted by this and thought it showed how Hollywood was lacking backbone. Jim also talked about how Chris Rock chose not to report the incident to the police. He said that if he were Chris, he would have sued Will for $200 million because the incident was caught on video and had a lasting impact. Jim believed that there were better ways for Will to express his disapproval, like talking from the audience or social media, instead of resorting to physical violence. He wanted there to be accountability, even though he didn't hold a grudge against Will. During a red carpet interview at New York Fashion Week, Jim Carrey did something different. He playfully circled around the interviewer and gave an unconventional response. When asked about the icons theme of the event, he dismissed it as meaningless. He said he didn't believe in icons or personalities, and that true peace goes beyond those surface-level things. He used the metaphor of a superhero's chest emblem to make his point about how real meaning goes deeper than symbols and labels. Jim Carrey's unique take on the red carpet left a strong impression. He talked about how life is more than just appearances and how we're all connected in a bigger dance. He challenged the usual way of thinking and left people thinking about his deep ideas. So, there were several reasons that led Jim Carrey to step back from Hollywood. One of the big ones was the increasing corporate influence in the film industry, which played a pretty big role in his decision. The more Jim Carrey's career in Hollywood progressed, the more he felt the pressure of profit and business taking over the joy he found in acting. This made him question if he really belonged in the spotlight anymore. On top of that, he wanted to explore other creative avenues, which added to his decision to step away. After his early movies became huge successes, there might have been a lot of pressure on him to keep reaching that same level of fame. This pressure could have been too much, and it could have influenced his choice to take a break from acting. Also, Hollywood was changing, and the industry was always evolving. Dealing with these changes and challenges might have been another reason he decided to step back. All these reasons together led Jim Carrey to leave Hollywood for a while. But this wasn't all. Illuminati seemed to have played its part in the whole ordeal. Ever since Jim spoke up so openly against that group, Hollywood wasn't the same for him anymore. Do you think Jim Carrey will ever make a comeback to Hollywood? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. See you in the next one.